Right. I want
Oh,
to I want to welcome Rose Henry to the podcast, Sound of Your Soul. And I am so excited for you to be here and chatting with me.
Oh, I'm absolutely delighted to just be on and chatting to like-minded people. I think sometimes you got to find your tribe, haven't you?
Yes, you have to find your
Yeah,
tribe and shine through.
yeah, definitely.
Yes. So what I wanted to ask now, you do business in mindset coaching?
Yes. So
Okay. Yes.
I live in Northern Ireland and I've lived in Africa, I've lived in Australia. I'm actually from Wales, from South
Wow.
Wales, from the valleys. And I think that's where I get my name from. I think my guides chose Rose. I think I'm a bit of Gypsy Rose.
I love it.
And I've lived in this beautiful Irish continent now for 14 years, and I absolutely love it here. I feel like I've come home. And I started with cards. So I actually started with tarot and angel cards, soul
Very
cards.
Yes.
And then I moved into Reiki. So I love the healing of crystals. I work with a lot of children that are going through divorce and all of that. And
Brilliant.
then moved into, because I teach a lot on mindset, it was a natural progression. So I do a lot of teaching in America and Australia with mindset programs. And I absolutely just love letting people step into their own light, into their own energy, and realize that in their next breath, they can actually
I,
choose a different quality of breath.
I love the way how you talk about breath, and I love how you connected the breath as well, because that is so powerful, and it's mind blowing as well. And you're doing all sorts of fabulous things with your career, and like Reiki is a part of, like, I do like some Reiki as well, and it's so powerful because you can see the symbols,
Yes.
and it's amazing for you to accomplish all this, because it's fantastic work that you do. And
Thank you.
yes, and can you tell me a bit more about, like, what you do with trauma
Yes.
yeah.
So I'm very logical. I'm a very logical spiritual person.
Love it, yeah.
And I really am not into keeping hold of yesterday, because I believe that if you change your cloak, you can become your own superwoman or superman. I work with a lot of men. I get a lot of counselors that send me men, because I just see us as a chunk of energy.
Okay.
So if we're just a chunk of energy, we can heal ourselves.
Yes.
And a lot of us hold what we think is hurt from our past.
I love
And
it.
if we go shopping in the morning before we even wake up, before we even get out of the bed, if we go shopping with Mrs. Universe, we can go down this beautiful white passageway in the mind, and we can go into our own room and we can shop for today.
That's
And if that means that you're going through stress, then own the stress, breathe it up, give it to Michael. So I see color. So Michael is the blue sky above us.
Love it.
So as you take the breath of 5 from your pelvis to your tummy, to your heart, to your throat, to your mind, and you just think, yesterday was so stressful, I'm just giving it back to Michael.
Yeah.
Michael exchanges it back into your body for balance.
And this is Archangel Michael that you talk about.
Yes.
I love,
Yes.
yes, Archangel Michael is my favorite one. I mean, he's a beautiful soul, and it's incredible because you can actually feel,
Yes.
his presence.
Yes. And
It's
Michael will protect you. So
Yes,
Michael protects the earth, protects Mother Earth.
yes, I love
So
it.
Michael, if you think you're going out and you're going for an interview, or you're going out and you're going to talk to a partner, or you're going out and you're going to be in a situation where you feel like nervous, you
Yeah,
just drop the blue sky, the blue cloak around you, and you walk into a space, and he gives you your voice, and you communicate what needs to be said.
yes.
So I work with I work with Raphael, who's the grass beneath your feet to ground you, and Michael to bring the balance,
And
Gabriel to clear the mind, and of course Uriel to give us a bit of passion for life.
Yes, and I love how you talk about like all the archangels because they are to me I think they're beautiful souls that like help us and guide us through life. Uh,
Yes,
it's very much you have to feel it because I now I
yes,
get shivers down my spine by you talking about like the archangels and,
yeah.
and I mean it's
I
fantastic.
just think that if we equate the angels to four chambers of the heart is earth, wind, fire, and water in a spiritual sense, then earth is to ground us, fire is Uriel to give us the passion, water is emotions, which could be Raphael healing us,
Yes,
and
yes,
then air is change, which could be Gabriel giving us clarity. We can work with our own chambers of our heart to connect to the passageway in our mind, to connect to the triangle that
yes.
is the archangels. So the archangels can bring light through our whole body and into our lives. And I think that's very important.
I think that's so too. And how did you get inspired to go on your journey?
Yes, so until I was 11, I saw spirit. So I was very connected to, I thought everybody could see spirit. And my granddad passed away when I was about 6, told my nan he came and visit me, but he had a head of hair. And of
Yeah.
course, I knew my granddad bald, so it was quite weird seeing him with hair. And she was laughing because she was a tea leaf reader, my grandmother. And so she felt comforted because he had his spats on. I mean, because I didn't know what spats were. He was a musician in his day and he used to play the piano, and it brought her comfort. And then I would have premonitions. But when I was 11, my mom was quite set, and my dad actually in their ways to say spirit doesn't exist. So I switched it off
Okay.
and I left it. We moved to South Africa. I used to astro travel to my grandmother every night in Cardiff. I used
Yeah.
to sleep with her every night because I had a real good connection with her. I only realized it after I was 29. And
Yeah.
then when I was 29, my ceiling at 2 in the morning, my ceiling was taken off, my roof was taken off my house. My husband was sleeping next to me, and Archangel Gabriel, white light just came and poured, and I hid under the blanket
Yes, yes, yes.
because I thought I was imagining it. And I hid, and then I looked, and the light was still there. It was like Beam Me Up Scotty in Star Trek, if
That-
anybody's that age and they remember Star Trek. And then I kind of started to look up, and there was just this golden crown. It was just beautiful. And she said she was Archangel Gabriel, and she was switching me back on.
That is incredible. I love actually quite love your story, how you told that so perfectly well. And I could actually see it and visualize it as you were speaking. And it's actually so powerful. Like,
Yeah.
because it does. I mean, when I talk to you now, I'm getting shivers down my spine. And it's like, wow, shivers of goodness and sort of like, whoa. And I think you're doing fantastic work.
Oh,
Uh,
thank you.
and I
And I
really,
mean, your work is amazing. I mean, you're healing so many people, and you've got this mindset program coming up. And I mean, you must be so excited.
I
Even if
am.
you help, just even
Yeah.
if we all help just a few people, it can just create a better world, can't it?
I so much agree with you. And I think you're extraordinary because you can sense all these things and you can feel them. And it's just mind blowing. I just think
Oh,
I'm just so connected because I believe in all those angels as well. And it's for everybody. It's for everybody. And
yes,
everyone can tap into them. And
yes.
yes. And
And
sorry.
isn't it sad? Isn't it sad that in schools they don't educate the children to
Yes.
release their stress? They
Yeah.
don't give them ways of understanding that their own energy and their own breath leads the way. Because if you take breath away, your sight goes, your ear hearing goes, your sense of smell goes. But as soon as you give breath back, your
Yeah.
hearing comes back, your sight comes back. So your breath always leads the way, and it's always underrated.
Yeah, and most people, I mean, to be honest, most people don't know how to breathe properly
Yeah.
as well. And I can you tell me how a
Yes.
person can breathe?
Yes. So what I experience with a lot of the clients that come for healing is they take a very shallow breath.
Mm.
So they breathe from heart to throat. That's it, heart to throat. When they get into a stress situation, they shut the breath down from the heart and it's the throat left, and then they go into panic and then it feels constricted.
Okay.
So nobody has taught us to breathe from 2 inches below the belly button, from the sacral, from where your passion for life sits. All the juices of life run from where birth comes from and where we choose to be born into this world. So if we breathe from the pit of our stomach and we pull it through the tummy to release the knots and through the heart to go through the chambers and into the throat, we can pull it to the third eye and then into the triangle, which is your spiritual wedding ring, which marries you to your soul, your Akashic record. So if we can just breathe to the count of 5, all you need is 3 breaths. If you're sitting in traffic, if you're on the bus, at the bus stop, if you're cooking, you use time, you don't lose time. So there's no excuse to say, I need to be lying down for an hour. No, I'm
No.
very logical.
Yeah.
As you drive your car at each traffic light, just a 2-minute breath, 3 breaths to the count of 5. Give up your stress from the last 2 hours, bring back the balance. It's like an exchange shop with the angels. Give
Yes.
up your stress, bring back the balance. And as soon as you breathe the breath of balance back to your sacral, to where your tummy sits, you start to release all these knots, because dis-ease really sits in the body and it becomes disease like IBS, sore lower back, sore fear behind the knees. It's all linked to whether we are breathing up and away what no longer serves us. We don't do it. We just keep it hosted in our throat so we can't get words out, hosted in our heart so we close our emotional self down, and hosted in our tummy so we get all these tight knots. So if we just did this, imagine you stop 10 times a day, you'll end up with 20 minutes of release
It's
and bringing back the balance.
that, I think you nailed that to a T, and that's such a beautiful, beautiful way of showing how to breathe. And it's like so powerful how you explained it, and it's so incredible. It's just, yeah,
That's
it's
lovely.
really,
How do you see it? How do you see breath?
I see breath as like you breathe in through the nose, and I just hold it, and I just breathe in and just relax. That's how I see it. And then
Yes.
like I just release the breath as I
Yeah.
breathe in. And
Do
that's
you
how
release it down to Mother Earth so that it can take grounding, so you can be grounded in your presence?
yes, I do.
Yeah.
And I have to get more used to that one though. So I breathe and then just go breathing in. And sometimes actually it's actually good for to sit beside a tree.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you can connect to a tree as well, and you can
Mm-hmm.
feel the energy of a tree when you connect to it as well. So it's like get comfortable and then just take off your socks and shoes and
Yes. Yeah.
ground your feet down to the earth, and it's just amazing. Uh,
Yeah.
I've done that
Because
once.
your tree represents your tree of life, which is
Yeah.
through the spine. The bark of the tree comes up through your mind goes into the branches go into the leaves, and the leaves are all your past lifetimes memories.
Yeah.
So you are always attached through the circle, which is your crown. You wear it proudly, your crown chakra, and that circle takes you to the love of your soul, which is all these extended branches with all of your wisdom from your past lives.
That is incredible. I think that is amazing how you explained it, and it's amazing. It's just, yes, I'm connecting now because I mean, it's just incredible.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, that feeling, if you give yourself permission, isn't it? You give
Yeah,
yourself permission to just say, do you know what? Maybe life was crappy yesterday, but from today, if I go to my front door and I release that cloak of doubt or fear, anxiety or stress, and I change the cloak for, like, let's be the kid again, who did you want to be? A doctor, a nurse, a
yeah,
superwoman, a superman, and you put the cloak of contentment on. When you walk through your house, you don't bring the anxiety and dump it into the passageways. You actually bring contentment through.
brilliant. I think that's incredible. And
Yeah.
can you tell me a bit more about Reiki?
Yes. So I love to think that we are all able to heal ourselves. And how do we heal ourselves? by properly listening to the conversation that our body has been giving us for the last, if we're 20, 30, 40 years, I'm 60, so the last 60 years. So,
You look
yeah, I've
fantastic.
just turned 60. Yeah.
Oh,
So, and I've loved all of my life. I'm very, very pleased to be aging and to be experiencing Reiki, because Reiki will tell your body, will stop you in your tracks. So you will see some people get stress at work and they have to take time off. Some people suddenly get a sore back, they can't walk. Your body is having a conversation. And if you don't listen to your body and do some self-healing, then we look to chemicals to try to heal us, when actually if we just took the breath, called in Angel Raphael, he's the archangel of healing, the staff of life, and asked him to imagine going into the cells, the muscles, the bones, we can have a very deep-seated conversation with our own sense of being, and we can make some notes for ourselves, and we can really focus in on where our dis-ease sits to bring it back to ease. So when I'm treating, whether it's online or I do a lot of overseas sessions, or whether it's in my room, I use crystals, because crystals amplify the healing 100 times. So they're getting a whole bunch more healing than if it was just the hands. And I use pendulums and I use selenite. So Reiki is a really wonderful, natural way of using your own conversation with your own energetic vibes in your body to bring a sense of peace. And that peace brings ease into your bones, your cells, and your muscles. So you start to walk a bit taller, and you start to realize that you can't carry the world on your shoulders. You're not meant to. You know, the realms of the angels, there's 7 realms. And one of those realms is principalities and historians and healers. And they're the ones that will look after globally reformation. But for us, we are our own temple, and we need to really love our temple. And when we look in that mirror, guess who's looking back at us? Our soul created a work of art. And when you look at that work of art, you just see your own beautiful soul looking back at you.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is absolutely incredible, because I look in the mirror and I smile at myself and I go, "You're looking fabulous today." And you know, it's incredible, because you know, if you don't love yourself, it's like, who can you love?
Yes. Got
You
to
know,
start with yourself. Got
yes,
to start with yourself. And the more you can see, you know, your soul is your eyes are the windows of your soul. So the more you can brush your teeth and giggle and think, oh my goodness, like, is this really a work of art? Yes.
yes.
It doesn't matter if gravity's pulling you down. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you can look in that mirror and be proud that God has given you another day, or that the universal flow has given you more flow. So yeah, we are very privileged to enjoy sharing energy, but sometimes we have become the runners, and we have not paused to look around us and just appreciate and have that gratitude.
I think that's beautiful. And can I tell you, what would you say, if a client of yours was very nervous or had anxiety? How would you go about that?
Okay, so if somebody is struggling and they really have always suffered, so I see a lot of people suffering with anxiety. I think in this day and age, we just become a nation of runners. First of all, we can send energy into an issue, a situation, or even a relationship. So what do I mean by that? Just because we send a Google Mail, so we sent a lovely communication to one another to organize to get together today and spend some lovely time sharing energy. So our guide, we have a librarian, that if we go through the golden wedding ring of our soul and we meet our librarian, who is our guide, he holds all the lessons that we have ever lived, I believe, in past lives. So it's Akashic records. So we can go in if we are anxious and we know we're going for an interview, we're going to look at our relationship, or we're going to look at something for ourselves, we can go in through our guide and we can immediately send a Gmail, a guide mail, not a Google mail, to a situation, an issue, or even the person that we're having problems with. It could be a mother, a lover, it could be a friend or a child, and just send them a color. I always imagine it as a color. So what if I know that you're struggling and you're struggling with your health? I would send green energy as a Gmail, a guide mail, and my guide immediately sends it to your guide. And within 4 to 6 weeks, you start to see changes in the conversation you're having, because it's a subliminal conversation. It takes away anxiety and it gives you a feeling of flow, because when we are anxious, we are allowing anxiety or fear to lead the way. So now we are telling fear, step back, because I'm stepping forward and my guide is going to talk to your guide and we're going to have an open conversation. And I'm expecting an outcome. What we don't do, what I find a lot of my clients don't do. So say they're going for an interview, they'll send the energy, but they still don't feel good enough. They think 10 people better than them. No. You send energy, you expect the panel to be there. If there's 3 or 4 people on Zoom or in a room, send it ahead of time. When you're going there in Zoom, just before you go onto the Zoom session, you're imagining all that beautiful energy. Blue is communication, Michael. You imagine Michael's filling the room with your aura. And what happens is, as you step into the room, they only see your perfect self. They don't see your anxiety.
Yes. Oh, wow. I think that is just fantastic. I mean, oh, I love the way how you speak about colors, and I love the way how you speak about all the angels sending color into lives, and feeling present in that moment in time.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful. I love it. I really, it's gorgeous.
And I do think that a lot of people aren't taught this. Again, I go back to, like, I work with many children and I work with them with their crystals. Like, I do charity days and I would take my little wooden crystal box and I would throw, like in South Africa, you throw the bones, I'd throw the crystals. And it has such a significant effect on your mind. And that's why mindset is really important. That's why I love the work that you're doing with your healing and your mindset.
Yes.
Because if we can just bring in some experience that we have had, and it can help just a small amount, and we can do one small step at a time to get to a bigger step. That's all that people need to do to really get themselves out of situations where they feel locked in.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
The more stress they get, they're in their head a lot.
Yeah.
And when
Yeah.
they're in their head a lot, it's not good. It's like their head is going to explode or something, because
Yes.
they're just
Yeah.
too intense. And
and a lot of people don't know their own value system, or they don't know their own strengths.
yes.
So if you have no idea of who you are, then how do you stand forward when somebody is condescending or somebody is bringing you down? How do you say, well, that is a value and you're treading on my toes? I always think of values as somebody stepping on my toes. So if you step forward and you belittle me because I have a value of saying I won't try drugs or I don't drink, then I step forward back to you and say, actually, you're welcome to try it, but you just leave me out of it.
Yeah, I think that's so. I don't drink, like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm proud of I don't drink. I mean,
Good. Yes, but a lot of people would feel embarrassed.
yes,
You
a lot
know,
of people would feel
and oh gosh, why aren't you taking a drink, or why aren't you in a party mood? Some people are introverts and some people are extroverts.
I agree, because I mean, it's so hard this day and age sometimes when people are just going, oh, look at that person in the corner, oh,
Yeah.
it's like, what are they talking about? Because it's
Yeah.
not, they're just judging, and
Yes.
it's not fair to
Yeah.
judge.
No.
And like, it's just amazing. I think your just work is just totally fantastic. I really do. It's
Well,
just,
I think that you are also doing similar work, and I think that if anybody watches this, even if one person watches and can use, I always think of it as a makeup bag or soul tools. And I always think of putting something, like if I went out, I do like my lippy. I always have my lippy next to me. And if I go out and I don't have my lippy, I feel like bare because I like having kissy lips. I always tell my husband I've got kissy lips. And so what do we put in our toolbox for our soul? What do we put in our makeup bag? So if one person can say, oh my gosh, I'm going to try that breath of 5, or actually I'm going to send a energy to my partner because he pissed me off, or she pissed me off this morning. I hope I'm allowed to say that. Then they've already got some tools they can start to work with to totally change their mindset, because their mind is very set to what they've created patterns and habits over so many years.
And I love your expression in words, because it's so true, and it's so practical, and it's right. You change your mindset, change your mind, and it's like, connecting to how you want to be, how do you want to feel, and it's
important.
It's important to be able to understand. So
so I'm based in I've got my little room in my little house at the end of my little street, and it's amazing how I believe in God. Some people believe in the universal flow, so whatever is good for them. I would never take anybody's beliefs, because everybody has their right to their belief, but it's amazing how flow sends you the people in your frequency.
It is.
Isn't that incredible?
Incredible, like it really is.
So I totally every time appreciate how people from Canada or America or Australia, how they're talking to me over this thing called Zoom, Wide Area Network, and how it's a very slow way of doing it, because if I wanted to work with my guide, and I think that our guides connect and they connect us to a slower network.
Yes, okay, that's really good. I like it. I like what you're saying. Really good. Wow.
So I've been in Northern Ireland for 14 years. I started very small because I knew nobody here, and built up within 2 years so I could leave my full-time work and go into making my spiritual practice full-time. So I've been doing this full-time for 12 years, actually doing it for 32 now. 32 years since I was 29, so it's going on to 32 years. And most of it was part-time, but 12 years ago I went into it full-time, and haven't looked back, because I believe if you have a message and your heart is beating to create happiness in people's lives, people will be thrown at you from the universe.
They will. That's true.
You'll be rained with energy, because remember, I don't believe we exist. We're just energy having an adventure in this lifetime.
We're energies in a suit, in a bodysuit, in a suit.
Absolutely. That's how I see it. This is our vehicle, and we got to use this vehicle. Like, I've got very long arms and I've got like hardly any legs. But anyway, at least I've got legs, so I won't complain. And I just think that you are created in your soul's image.
Yes, I believe so. And I see you have got a dream catcher there.
I've got a few. I've got my tree of life. I've got this one. I've got some hanging on the doors.
Can you tell me more? Can you tell me about a dream catcher, or is that?
Yes. So dream. So let me tell everybody, if anybody's interested in how to connect to your loved ones through feeling secure in your connection, because a lot of us would, like my nan, she passed 30 years ago, and I love her to bits, and she still comes and visits me. But your dreams are your first, it's where your body has to rest. Your body is a vehicle that's carrying your soul, and so it has to rest, but your soul doesn't want to rest. Your soul lifts out of your body every night, which is where astral projection comes from. And as it lifts out of your body, your loved ones, if you call them into a beautiful meadow with a big old tree of life, I always have a little brook and some pebbles and a little bit of water and the sun on my face, the birds in the sky. And then I call my family to come and sit under the tree with me. And as your body lifts every night to sleep, so your body can recharge, it's like plugging an electric car in, but you're plugging it in to relax. Then your soul can go to work with your family, and you can actually really have good conversations with all the people that you love that have passed.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I mean,
And you know where the evidence is there. I
yes,
don't know if anybody that watches back will realize that sometimes we go to sleep and then we wake up with a jolt, like
yes,
we're falling out.
yes,
Like I always felt like I was falling off a cliff.
yes. I had that. I had that once, and I fell off my bed.
Yes.
I fell off my
Yeah.
bed.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people experience it, but you know what happens? As your soul lifts from your physical body and a cat meows or a dog barks or a car backfires, you've got into such a relaxed state, but that shock, your soul has to come back into the body and it jolts you and you feel like you're falling.
Yes, that's
And
perfect.
that's the evidence.
That's
Yeah.
very. That's beautiful. So my time is up. For
Okay.
recording. I want to thank you so very much because you were so super interesting, and I'm so grateful for you to be coming on a chat with me. It's amazing,
I
incredible.
want to say to you, thank you. I want to say that I only wish you everything of the best.
Thank you very much.
I think that what you're doing to try to share with people is amazing.
Thank you very much.
And yeah, if you need anything, you know, I'm always here. I really appreciate that you invited me along for a good old chinwag. I think
Yes.
it's great.
And like what if I can put your link up on Facebook as well, and
Yes.
I will put that link in, and it'll be on Zoom as well. I mean, sorry, it'll be on YouTube as well.
Okay, that's perfect. And then as soon as you do that, I will also put it onto my Facebook,
Yes.
and they can also visit my website if they want to
Yes.
have a look at any other information. But thank you so much.
You
Have a
very
lovely
much.
afternoon.
Thank you
And
very much,
speak
Rose.
again. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank
Thanks,
you.
bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.